Well, I know it's been out for about 4 months or so, and I wasn't initially planning on doing it today, but what the heck. I just got back from Cars 3 a few minutes ago, and even though it's not my favorite Pixar film, I thought it was enjoyable, overall, since. And I will admit, first off, that the story, even as someone who was in the minority that liked the second film, which I viewed, when I was still uploading 6 years ago, oh, I'll admit about a plot about trying to get back on your wheels after a bad head season is definitely a lot easier to follow than something about industrial espionage and to say the least, hasto. And basically, it's not my favorite Pixar sequel by any stretch of the imagination. Definitely not honestly one I'm mad to. It's like Toy Story 3 Finding Dory, but I liked it. So the story is as follows. We have Lightning McQueen, voiced again by Owen Wilson in a kind of like a crossroads, so to speak. Losing steam to a new generation of super race cars, including a one Jackson Storm, voiced by Armie Hammer, and honestly, if I had the same kind of editing ability earlier or Reach's couch to me, I definitely would totally make like a 24 reasons why this movie and Rocky 3 is the same movie because a lot of parallels, given how essentially Jackson Storm is very much like our sort of kind of stand-in for Mr. T's character in that movie, Clubber Lang, and we have. I also kind of like how they used archive recordings as well as deleted scenes of the late great Paul Newman as Hudson giving him advice in the film. That's the whole thing. That even though the first film definitely had its moments, namely the art town sequence and, and with the James Brown song, that's it definitely feels like it's probably the most emotionally heavy of the three films, since. And even though it's obviously not as the same level of heavy as as I make you mention like other ones like Toy Story 3, Inside Out, Up or Wall-E, like, it definitely managed to hit the right notes for where I am in my life, given how lots changed and since I started uploading and holding on this channel 6 years ago, and the film seems to realize that both the perspective of the new cars, but also some of the new allies, such as since Rusty's gets bought out by a new who head called named Sterling, voiced by Nathan Fillion, and 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 definitely feel that that he has all two motives, and also kind of like how a little of a metafictional moment there about how the how this series often more merchandise heaven than the other Pixar films. I know that it's probably a revenue stream. That's a big revenue stream, and it's not the only time that they've actually had something you could actually make into a toy per hundred video game, but they actually kind of acknowledge that, and also it's not quite as over the top as say putting chain guns in Maiden in the last movie, but and also other ones include who Cruz Maria has played voiced by Cristel Alonso, his trainer, as well as Doc Hudson's and his mentor Smokey, voiced by Chris Cooper. So they've definitely the voice acting all very solid across the board. Heard and a lot of good cast people in here, and even the other cable guy is Beta, who's definitely a comedian on the opposite end of my particular sensibilities, but I will not hold that against him. Besides, he's definitely one of those actors I find to be like a guilty pleasure. I can definitely tell that Whitney is putting his all into that one, and he is committed to voicing like this beat up old tow truck. And also got a lot of cameos. Those, those, and of course, as per usual, we have John Ratzenberger and his obligatory role as Mac. We also have You have Kyle Petty as Cal Weathers, as grandson, kind of the King Strip Weathers, voiced by Richard Petty. And again, anything that's going on outside this realm does not concern me right now. But what does concern me is overanalyzing a film which is meant for young children and families. Because that's definitely the kind of like the little wheelhouse I put myself in, and that's what I'm definitely going to be doing right now. The animation, as per usual, Pixar is impeccable. The races, especially with McQueen's crash to kick off the events of the film, you really get a good sense of the speed and also the intensity of the whole thing. That even though it's not as on the same level, also in filmography, that is the one aspect that definitely is by far the strongest of the film. That the attention to detail always tends to amuse me. That's the whole archways or bridges that look like car parts that the and I did get a lot of chuckles some of the in jokes I have there, both regarding racing as well as otherwise. Is that and kind of like how a lot of the things that have a good balance between the technical aspects inside the simulator as well as outside the real kind of experience. That oh yes, someone stood out at me. Hey, we have the whole sequence, the demolition at this place called Thunder Hollow. Hello, hello, oh, Lizzie, played by Catherine and Helmond. Oops, wrong one. And so I'm just making sure. I'm just still trying to collect myself. It's not totally done just yet. However, overall, I definitely thought it was a pretty fun film. Oh, wait, now I remember. Leah Delaria as Miss Fritter. A demolition derby kind of school bus. As for people who are kind of having experience about the new Magic School Bus show, just imagine if Miss Frizzle was actually got inside the bus and wanted to start wrecking cars with hers for fun, Fun and still, I actually wasn't expecting a lot of material for this kind of film. When the first trailer hit, it was actually pretty heavy, and even though it's not quite as dark as was suggested, it comes close for me. They even remixed it with Johnny Cash's cover of Herman Logan trailer and actually fit pretty well, like the McQueen sort of mashup there, and I think I feel a similar way toward I did towards the new Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm not gonna spoil too much about how it is, but based on when they do finally have the race in Florida, I submit that it makes a good enough finale for the trilogy, as well as if they want to make more, leaves enough of an opening for them to do that, and it's solid for them to decide since. And even though it definitely wasn't like a bomb by any stretch of the imagination, he's saying that, and it is like a little bit better than the second one for me, even as someone who kind of liked it. But I still think the first one's probably my favorite. But overall, solid and if they go decide to end it like this, to overall decent trilogy and definitely family friendly enough that it will definitely can hold someone's attention who's small for an hour and 42 minutes, as well as keep having enough little jokes keep you amused, like, no cussing, it's family night. If you're part of my little thing, I definitely am trying to keep this advertiser friendly the best I can, and this is definitely one that was very aggressively marketed. And definitely sold enough model cars to have that stream open as well. So 152 million domestic, 374 million worldwide on a budget of 175 million. I think they're in the clear here for now, and setting up Coco, a little bit of a tease level on the train center, setting up apparently one of the races in Mexico. I just kind of like that, enjoy the most whenever they have, like, set up their next film, and the one you're watching. It's hard to wonder how this is going to fit in with the Pixar theory, though, with the fact that they all take place in continuity, which could explain why there are any people, but they're just gonna have to keep it solid here, and I'll give it overall a solid 3.5 out of 4. And if they're going to talk about some coming attractions as well. Okay, so I'm thinking that as opposed to anticipation, this time it's going to go in release order to make it keep it simpler. Her, and definitely give you my thoughts on what I think about each potential film that's coming next. I mean, November 3rd, Thor Ragnarok, looks like a lot of fun. So the runtime is going to be 2 hours and 10 minutes, which definitely makes a lot of sense. And it looks like it's going to be probably the most crazy film in the trilogy, and I'm thinking I'm going to love it for that, given how both Thor and the Incredible Hulk are going to play a part in it, as well as more Loki is always good. As well as new characters such as Jeff Goldblum as a Grandmaster, who's actually like a collector. It's probably like the tattoo beard or whatever, I mean, as well as Tessa Thompson as a Valkyrie. Hey, they're expecting it's going to open pretty big, and I definitely agree with that, given how, even though I met Inhumans and Iron Fist might be our favorite Marvel productions, they're actually kind of fun and how silly they are in some regards. If you excuse me a moment. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, Coco, their next film after the one I just saw, a Day of the Dead themed film, where a young man wants to bring music back to his home, as well as do so with a mystical journey to the land of the dead. It looks visually stunning as per usual, and also, Leon Critch, who directed Toy Story 3, he is at the director's chair here for this one. I just find it a fascinating concept, the Day of the Dead, as well as the ideas of the afterlife in general, and all that. I'm not sure when I'm going to see this film, but I definitely know it's going to be a win and not an if in my case, because it looks spectacular. It's coming out around Thanksgiving weekend, which is served Disney World in the past. I mean, it's recently this decade, and it's probably going to be a lot of fun on that. And I can definitely say that much. I reckon I'll enjoy it to some capacity, but the question remains how much. I'm also contemplating doing a Pixar marathon in its honor. I mean, definitely quite soon, given how I'm mostly going to be focused on ones I haven't done yet if I do decide to do that. I mean, I'm not going to be doing this film again, and Walk Hers 2, or Inside Out, or Monster Diversity. However, going to be doing ones I haven't done from Good Dinosaur, all the way back to the first Toy Story chronological order, given when they came out in theaters. And it is because the first Toy Story is the first film I actually remember seeing in the theater. I mean, The Lion King was the first one I went to when I was very young, but I actually remember Toy Story more. But I did see Lion King a lot when it came out on video, obviously. Yes, fellas, I'm old enough to know what VHS tape is. Okay. Next, so Christmas time, Star Wars Episode 8: The Last Jedi. As I mentioned before, I'm very excited for this, given how I'm gonna be making sure that my costumes are ready for that, not just when it comes out, but also for Halloween later this month. I'm gonna be going out of town. As I pointed out, I'm gonna have stuff ready before then. Working on, I've already done all the other movies and the holiday special last year. I'm definitely going to be doing both the Tartakovsky and Filoni Clone Wars. There's movies to get ready that, given how, I have the script Filoni thing ready. I just had to rework it after it went missing. I think that was one of the ones that was in iCloud, as well as in general the idea. Tartakovsky one. I edited all the shorts they used to on Cartoon Network into one movie. It's been following around the internet for some time, and I love it. I'm being willing to tell you about it. And I must have watched the new trailer. They just uploaded it online about 18 times, and looking forward to that. And many other things are franchise. And even though I have been following a lot of developments, episode 9 as well as a Han Solo movie, and also a possible Obi-Wan movie, I will just deal with them as they come, since I would have covered them more extensively, but I've been busy. See, Other things are just like the Pokemon videos, as a horror film stuff. So see them when they come, obviously. Last and least in anticipation is Ferdinand. Yeah, I can't even really muster much for this one, given how. Don't get me wrong. I like the story it's based on. I like John Cena. He seems like a pretty fun guy, both as a wrestler as a human being. But I just don't know, man. I can't even muster the same kind of level of rage I would have feel for like something like say the Peter Rabbit one, which also I'm not looking forward to. But at this point, I find it very difficult to care. That's because I like Blue Sky. Given how they're one of the studios that actually has their own identity. Like the first couple Ice Ages I liked, but after that, uh, Dawn of the Dinosaurs was yeah, that's yeah. I have not seen Continental. I only see a bits of Continental Drift on FXX. Didn't really care for it. But Collision Course finally seemed to have killed the franchise, especially given how I was seeing Star Trek when Heck Beyond when it was out. And I don't even know. It's kind of I just kind of seen the effects when you try to like a short story. It's only like at most like about 20 pages into a whole feature-length film. It doesn't look as bad as the infamous Cat in the Hat live-action film. And that's my for the day. But I just kind of not entirely sure what to expect from it. I could probably wait for the DVD, most likely. Like that's basically why if there's something that doesn't really stand out at me, I just don't really need to address it. That's it. Since that's basically why I don't see myself covering the Emoji Movie or Twilight anytime soon because I don't care for them, but there's just nothing I could say about them that everyone else already has at this point. And unless there's something that I can personally bring to the table, I usually don't do it. That's basically my policy for a while, But overall, if you have seen the film, please feel free to let me know what you think about the comments and anyway, gotta get back to what I'm doing, and I will see you all later.